I am the host, Ron Shadman, HCTV, Herndon Farmers Market. And I would like to introduce to you again Mrs. Stephanie Manning. I am delighted, absolutely delighted, for you to agree to be our guest.
Yeah, I was happy to.
From what I understand, you have plenty of informative things to tell us. So go ahead.
I was raised on Long Island in New York in an Italian family. In an Italian family, you can imagine everything was about food. I remember when my husband came to meet my parents for the first time, you know, they rolled out the first meal and then they rolled out the second meal because I think it was Thanksgiving. And, you know, first it was the pasta and then it was the turkey. So it was all about food, and my grandmother was coming to visit a lot. And so, you know, she had her hands in the turkey all the time. And when I was little, I always thought I would never do that. But then here I am today, you know, always getting my hands dirty.
You are an engineer, right? Tell me about how you went about to choose the field.
I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew I was good in math. I just started taking hard math classes in college, and I ended up just being friends with engineering students because they were the only other people taking those advanced math classes. So I thought naturally, maybe I should join the engineering curriculum as well. I knew that I didn't want to be dissecting pigs in the biology classes, but once I saw, you know, that they were doing their physics problems, and that just seemed more interesting to me.
What kind of engineering?
I majored in electrical engineering.
Electrical engineering, fantastic. You mentioned something about you did some catering.
I had my engineering career until I had my children, and when they were born, I stayed at home with them until maybe they were about 10 years old. You know, in those early years, I sort of learned how to entertain a lot. We always had lavish dinner parties, and, you know, I was always just doing, you know, very detailed kind of food creations. So I was cooking for all those years, and as I was cooking, I just really loved it so much. I always started feeling like I wanted to do more of it and do it sort of like develop maybe a second career. So I just started doing some catering in the neighborhood, and I started doing pretty large parties, like maybe 90 or 100 people, and just doing like these elaborate appetizers, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, and it was stressful. The problem is, as I was catering and making more of those party foods, I started feeling like an old disease that I had since childhood started kind of like coming back with a vengeance. So when I was a teenager, maybe it was like when I was in college, I was actually diagnosed with a disease called ulcerative colitis, which is like a sister disease to Crohn's disease. Over the years from teenagerhood through my adulthood, what I noticed was the flares would start happening more frequently. So maybe in the very early years, maybe it wouldn't, you know, it would be like every 7 years, every 4 years, every 2 years. And then right around 2012, so that was about 14 years ago, I just had, you know, the flare of my lifetime. I mean, after years of being in and out of the hospital and taking prednisone and different kinds of medications along the way, nothing seemed to resolve this particular flare. And I think it was, you know, it might have been just a combination of, you know, I was eating more of those party foods because I was catering, and it was stressful, and, you know, maybe I wasn't taking care of myself. And the regular medications that I had really used all of those years just weren't helping anymore.
You use some kind of alternative to medicine.
Right.
And you created your own little agenda. Tell us about that part.
Well, the medication that she was recommending to me scared me because it was a biologic, and it was something that I was going to have to take every month, like as an infusion for the rest of my life, and it was meant to suppress my immune system. I went to see a different kind of doctor. I saw a functional medicine doctor. What I learned was a lot of the foods that I had been eating, and in fact what, you know, most Americans eat, are very inflammatory. And what she recommended was to just eliminate 5 basic foods right off the bat. And those foods were gluten, dairy, corn, soy, and sugar. And I said, well, that's, you know, it doesn't seem like much, but it was a big deal because when I went shopping the first time, after that doctor's visit, I realized it was really, really hard to find any foods on the shelves that didn't have gluten, dairy, corn, so in some way, shape, or form. So it was a big, big learning experience for me. And what I realized pretty quickly was that the only way to adhere to this diet was to cook real foods from scratch, okay, so that I can control the ingredients. Within 30 days, just 1 month, all of the symptoms disappeared. This was after 30 years of dealing with the disease.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You went through another form of level. So tell us about your level and your writings and your experiences.
Once I realized how important diet was, I started getting very, very interested in learning more. So I just started reading everything that I could get my hands on. And I kind of came across a diet called the specific carbohydrate diet. And this was actually more than just removing a few inflammatory foods. It's considered a gut healing protocol. So what I learned along the way was that actually our intestinal tract is so important to our health. And the foods that we eat can really irritate it and create inflammation in the intestinal tract. When I think about the intestinal tract, which is, by the way, it's about 20 or 25 feet long, if you can believe it, it's really good to kind of compare it to the soil where we can grow our food or flowers, because there's such a beautiful ecosystem going on inside the soil where there's bugs, there's microorganisms, there's viruses, there's all different kinds of life in that soil. And the same is true in our intestinal tract, in the gut. If we can nurture that ecosystem, just like we would nurture the roots of the plants in the garden, then we're going to create a thriving plant with beautiful branches and beautiful leaves. So how do we nurture our intestinal tract? Well, first of all, we remove anything that is going to be an instigator. We replace, if we need like probiotics to help nurture that environment. We repair by making sure we're eating foods that, help build cells properly. And then basically, like, we just need to maintain, right? So we're going along the concept of just avoiding foods that instigate, giving our bodies the foods that it needs to build beautiful, healthy cells. And, meanwhile, we're just loading up with nutrients.
So that was how you came about your third occupation as a nutritionist.
Yeah. So the more I read, the more I craved to learn. And then I decided I really felt like I needed to use this information to help people, but I knew that I needed credentials to be able to be accepted, right? So I went back to school at the age of 50. To obtain my master's degree in holistic nutrition. So as I went through every class, I actually was writing articles in this local magazine that we had for the neighborhood. So with each class that I took, I would jump off and write an article around that topic. So I would write about, acid reflux, and then I would write about arthritis, or I would write about nervous system problems, or perhaps, thyroid issues, because really, we're coming back to these are the roots of the tree, and, if the roots aren't healthy, then the rest of our body isn't healthy.
I enjoyed every word she had done to make you healthier. And now, anything else we should know about you beside all three stages that you mentioned?
Yeah. One of the reasons that I became so passionate about this is because at the time that all this stuff was happening, I had young kids, and I was noticing that, it was really hard for them to be out in the world and eat healthy. At that time, it was really important for me to at least plant this seed of knowledge in them. And I just kind of wanted to make the world an easier place to eat healthy. I just think it's important to kind of try to teach the kids from a young age how to eat healthy, because bad habits are always hard to break, but they're especially hard to break when they're when they start so young.
Yeah. I know you have planned a fantastic menu recipe for us today, which we talked about. We call it a crowd pleaser.
Yeah, yeah.
And you tell us about it, what you're going to make for our viewers.
Okay, yeah. It's a southwestern beef with sweet potato dish. One thing about eating real healthy food is, you know, it
Spice.
doesn't have all of those additives and flavoring. So how do we add flavor? Beautiful individual ingredients, herbs, spices, lemon juice, lime, you know,
Garlic, yeah.
just our own marinades. So in this particular one, you know, just those onions and those spices, and I mean, there's jalapeno and then, you know, tomatoes.
Okay, now it's time for our viewers to follow us to the kitchen. So, Stephanie, tell us all about your ingredients.
So this particular recipe serves 8 people. I'm going to be using beef that I actually got from the farmer. We actually get half a cow every year. It's grass-fed, pastured, and with that you're going to get a healthier product. Onions. This is just 1 medium onion, some extra virgin olive oil, 2 garlic cloves, a spice mixture, and it consists of 4 teaspoons of ancho chili powder, cumin powder, sea salt, and pepper. In addition, we're going to use sweet potatoes, just 1 can of just plain tomatoes, plain whole tomatoes. We're also going to add chipotle chili powder as well as jalapeno pepper that I've already minced. And then, now I mentioned before that, you know, originally I took dairy out of my diet. I have been successfully able to reintroduce certain types of dairy. I stick with harder types of dairy because they're lactose very, very low, you know, almost 0 lactose. In this case, we are using cheddar just because of the nature of the dish. And then we'll finish off with fresh parsley from my backyard.
First, you are going to be using the olive oil.
Just 1 or 2 tablespoons of olive oil.
Saute the meat.
Just to saute, yeah. I'm going to start with the onions. And we're going to just wait till we get, you know, a little bit of
to the right
a
temperature.
shimmer.
Okay.
And this was, as I said, it was just 1 medium onion and just chopped.
Right.
Right?
Right.
That's a beautiful sound, I think.
Yeah.
All the
Sizzling,
onions.
Sizzling, yeah.
Okay. And we'll just do that for a few minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Just, we're going to saute it until it's translucent. Meanwhile, I can get my beef ready. So this is 2 pounds of ground beef.
Okay.
One thing I want to mention about the cheese also, I don't usually buy the cheese that's already shredded in a bag.
Okay.
Because in order to prevent that from sticking together, they add starch to that and anti-caking agents to that.
Really?
So I always try to buy like the big block cheese. And so, you know,
that's a new information for me.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
so it was just a 4 ounce, you know, about the size.
I didn't think that they add
only
those
took,
kind of things.
They do, and you know, I mean, if you read the ingredients label, you'll see it there.
Really?
And
I didn't even
most of
pay
the time
attention.
you'll see.
But
now sometimes there are things hidden that aren't actually listed. So,
either,
you
right.
know, you do the best you can.
That is a superb tip.
Okay, so this is pretty translucent. So now we're just going to kind of like move more quickly, and we're going to just add the garlic. I don't want to add the garlic too early because that'll tend to burn. Okay, and at the same time I'm going to add the spice.
Okay.
And I like to buy my spices online because I use
bulk?
In bulk.
Oh,
and
excellent.
You'll see over there I kind of have like this big spice wall-sized cabinet, and I put them all in these jars.
Excellent.
Because I use them so much.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to add the beef.
Okay.
I probably should have added the beef before this, but it's okay. So we're just going to.
Smells wonderful. Yeah. No, I like the smell of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
this is a beautiful aroma in the house.
Already, right?
Yeah, your whole neighborhood is going to come alive.
And we haven't used that many ingredients yet. Just onion, garlic, a couple of spices, and ground beef.
Superb.
So this is definitely a tasty meal. You'll see there's just so much flavor in it. So for the first time this summer, I tried my hand at growing sweet potatoes
You did?
in the backyard. So this is what we have.
Seriously?
Yeah. So
Oh my
they actually, I mean, the
goodness.
vines went crazy. They went everywhere. Actually, next year I'm going to plant them just to go over an arbor.
Look at this. Productive,
So,
very productive.
It's pretty wild, isn't it?
Oh, fantastic.
I mean, it still has the dirt on it.
Yeah.
But then there's some really teeny tiny ones. So
Oh my goodness.
we might have harvested them a little
Doesn't
bit too
matter how
soon.
small or big they are, they're all edible, right?
Right. I'm going to just transfer the beef now to
Okay.
just a big plate. You know.
So you saute it for
Until
at
it's
least 4 or
almost
5 minutes?
Yeah, maybe that was
Or
a
not-
little longer.
Not brown, not
It's
too
not
brown.
completely cooked
Yeah.
through. Again, I'm going to combine
Okay.
it all at the
Right,
end.
right.
So, but now I want to get the sweet potatoes and
Okay.
tomatoes in there.
Next step.
Yeah. So there's like brown bits stuck to the bottom. So by adding the liquid and the acid in the liquid too,
Right.
it's just going to deglaze it and bring all those flavors together.
That is very true, yeah, very true. Okay.
So that's that. And I'm going to just like let that liquid come in contact.
Okay.
And it'll make it easier to clean too.
So you sort of chop it right in there.
Yeah, I'll just chop it in here.
Right.
I mean,
What
you could
is
always.
what is the difference between canned diced tomato and whole?
No difference.
Nothing?
I just
Okay.
happen to like these.
You know, as far as health-wise goes, no difference.
It
Okay.
shouldn't be a difference. Yeah, I like it chunky.
Okay.
So, and it's easy
Oh, I
enough to
see.
do this.
Okay.
I mean, if you like it, you know, you could always put like a stick blender in here and puree it, you know, whatever you want to do. Just
Right.
make sure you read the ingredients and that you're
yeah.
not getting added sugar or
No,
whatnot, because a lot of the tomatoes will have that.
Right. That's
Okay.
true. Very true.
So we're going to bring that up to heat, and then we'll add these sweet potatoes. Okay,
So there's enough liquid
that's gonna
from
start.
tomatoes in order to.
right, to cook the
Okay.
sweet potatoes. Now that's just going to have to simmer for a
Okay.
while. In a couple of minutes, I'm going to add that. Let's see, the
Jalapeno.
Oh, I love them. I love spicy food.
Yeah.
People are always surprised that, you
Yeah.
know, with my
Yeah.
issues that I can eat spicy food, but there's no
Yeah.
problem, you know.
Right.
If you have a solid digestive tract, you could eat that.
Yeah.
So it's good for you, actually. It's antimicrobial. In a few minutes, like after this is tender, this actually will have to simmer for like 15 or 20 minutes.
Okay.
So I'm going to, you know, bring it to a boil and cover it. So it's
Okay.
kind of boiling now. I'm going to cover it, and then we kind of have to let it simmer for 15 or
Sure.
20 minutes. Now, I'll note that you can make this ahead, like a day or two ahead,
Okay.
if you want to, and maybe you would only simmer it for like 5 minutes, and then take it off. You know, you add the meat back and take it off the heat, and then store it in the
then process
refrigerator.
cooking later.
And then, like, 1 day, 2 days, even 3 days later, you can take it out, and then you'll finish cooking the sweet potatoes as you're bringing it up to
Right.
temperature again.
Right.
So, you know, this is a great make-ahead dish. But for now, we're going to do it all at once, so this needs
Right.
to simmer for
Right.
15 or 20
Right.
minutes.
Okay, well, let's talk about do usually when you do your shopping, you create your recipes in your mind, or do you create recipes?
Usually I get my recipe ideas from all different sources. I'll
Right.
be online and something will inspire
Dining
me.
out.
Or dining out. Sometimes I'll
Right.
try to reverse engineer, you know, what I'm
Right.
eating.
Right.
I'll very often inquire. You know, I'll ask the waiter to go ask the chef, like, what's in this, because I want to repeat
Create
it at
it again,
home. Oh, gosh. And they're usually so nice about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll tweak it. I'll tweak the recipes. So
Right.
if it has an ingredient that I wouldn't use, then I'll just tweak it. So
Substitute it
instead
and-
of cream, I make my own yogurt, homemade yogurt.
Awesome.
So that's one of the dairies that I eat.
Yeah.
And I ferment it for 24 hours,
Right.
which is much longer than what you can buy in a grocery store.
Right.
When it's fermented for 24 hours, it removes virtually all of the lactose, so it's much more easily digestible. And it really like increases the probiotic value of it. The yogurt is great for recipes when I need to add like a creaminess to it. And a lot of people have trouble eating, you know, milk or cream. So, you know, you just have to be careful that you add it at the right temperature so it doesn't curdle. I realize I didn't answer your question. How do I go about making my menu? What I do is, like, you know, kind of whatever I'm in the mood for, and I have all of these binders lined up by type of food, like, you know, meat or beef and chicken and vegetables, and I'll just kind of like go through and say, what am I in the mood for this week? And I'll just take out those recipes that are tried and true. And most of my recipes are scaled to feed 8 or 12 or even 16 people. So I'll usually make them in bulk. And that's really the only way to survive real whole food, cooking from scratch.
Absolutely,
is to
yeah.
cook in large batches, and then either put pieces, into the freezer if it freezes well, or
Portion
eat
them,
it maybe
right.
3 times that week. And it's just the two of us now. We're empty nesters, so
Is he a good eater?
Yeah.
Then don't worry.
He is. And luckily he likes the kind of food that we eat. But we'll have it as leftovers. The sweet potatoes have been just cooking for about 10-15 minutes. And now I'm just going to add the jalapenos and the chipotle powder. Add the beef now back
Okay.
to the pan.
All right.
Like I said, this is going
You want me
to
to
continue
help you?
cooking it. Please, thank you.
Okay.
Now it'll just finish cooking, just for a few minutes, because it's really almost cooked all the way.
Right, exactly.
And it'll just combine all the flavors. And leftovers will be delicious.
Yes.
Because all these flavors will just continue to marry.
Right.
And even if the sweet potatoes end up getting too soft, it's, later it's
okay,
still going to be
yeah.
delicious.
Yes,
After the
yes.
second day. Or
Well, actually, this kind of pot kind of cooking, they taste better the next day.
It does, yeah.
Because it's really the whole
those
flavor sort of
flavors.
mince in
Exactly.
together. Yeah.
And you're getting a vegetable, you're getting your
Yeah.
protein, you're getting everything at once here. So in one pot. Those
And it
one-pot
looks
meals.
pretty.
Isn't it?
Look at the sight
Yeah,
of it.
look at the colors.
It's gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
it's
at the
gorgeous.
end, we'll just add the cheese on top.
Okay.
I mean,
I
You
see
could
what you mean.
do
All
whatever
right.
you want.
And then, of course, it's something that you could put the whole pot on the table, right?
Yes,
and people
definitely.
can scoop it themselves.
And at this point, you can just
Uh-huh.
kind of you could do this so that the cheese melts faster, or you could put
Okay.
it in the broiler if
Okay.
you want it to get a little
Okay.
brown, but this is
Okay.
just easy.
And
then I'll just put some fresh parsley on top
when
for
you
more
serve.
color. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, our viewers, come and follow us to the table. Thank you. Hello again, viewers. Thank you so very much for following us to the table, for tasting the wonderful dish that Stephanie made for us. The color and the ingredients in here looks super fantastic.
I don't feel like it's deprivation to eat healthy. Do you?
Absolutely not. How could you say it's a deprivation?
I feel like
It's
I'm excited to
beautiful.
eat it.
So I'm ready to be served.
Okay, I will serve you first, my guest. Say when. I'll go in
Okay.
as many times as you want.
One more time is
Okay.
fine. Thank you very much. I mean, I cannot
Okay.
deny this wonderful. Thank you so much.
Enjoy.
Oh my God, it's heaven. It feels like
really
I have
good
died
dish.
and gone to heaven. Look at this. Not only is healthy,
Yeah.
it looks beautiful, and I can't wait to taste it.
And one of these types of dishes you can adjust however you like. You can make
Yeah.
it more spicy, less spicy. If you don't like sweet potatoes, you could use
Right.
butternut squash. If you don't want to use
Right.
beef, you could use turkey or chicken. And if you don't
Right.
want to use this kind of cheese, you don't have to use any cheese. It's just there's so many options. So
And as I mentioned, probably just eat it by itself, or if you don't have any other problems, serve it with rice,
rice
or
would be great.
perhaps tortilla.
Yeah, or if you want to go low carb and you don't want to have real rice, you could use cauliflower
Chips,
rice.
perhaps.
But a lot of people are using cauliflower rice as a
cauliflower.
base,
Oh, right.
So that would be
cauliflowers.
nice as a bed.
Excellent.
And
Yes,
it's more filling
yes,
too.
yes.
But
Absolutely.
any way you want.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit. Enjoy.
My goodness. So much flavor in here.
Lots of colors and smells and flavors. Not too spicy, right? We could have gone more. We could have used 2 or 3, 4 jalapenos.
For me, more the better, I
Yeah.
said.
I just used 1 good size jalapeno in here today.
This is the most fantastic dish. Beautiful.
Thank
and
you.
Healthy. How could you go wrong?
It's been a pleasure. It's
Maybe
like just,
a glass of cold chilled beer, wine, red wine, champagne. Holiday times are coming, so try to make this recipe. And if you have any question, you can probably reach this episode through hctv.org, and we can provide that for you. Once again, I'd like to say thank you so very much
thank
for
you.
being our host and chef and all above.
Thank you so much. This has been so
I
much fun.
appreciate it. Thank you so much
It's
again.
really been a fun time.
Have a great day until our next episode. Thank you very much.